आपने अमेज़न पे अपना प्रोडक्ट लॉन्च कर लिया है, आप अमेज़न पे एड्स चला रहे हो, बट आपके अमेज़न एडवर्टाइज़मेंट से कोई बेनिफिट नहीं मिल रहा है। यू आर स्पेंडिंग मनी एवरी डे, यू आर बर्निंग कैश, बट यू आर नॉट गेटिंग द रिटर्न ऑन योर इन्वेस्टमेंट। Your ACOS and your return on ad spend are through the roof. And generally speaking, the problem in such a scenario is right in front of you. But most people want to focus on the other directions. Most people want to focus on their keywords. Most people want to focus on their ACOS percentages. But ये सारी चीज़ों पर फोकस करने से, ये सारे मेट्रिक्स पर फोकस करने से आपके रिजल्ट नहीं आने वाले हैं. Generally speaking, there are 5 important things that you should be considering if you want to fix your Amazon business. In this video, I will help you understand those 5 metrics or 5 areas that you should be focusing on for real, even if you don't like it. Now, once you understand those 5 things, I want you to promise me that you will try to fix it, because if you try to fix these 5 different things, you will fix your Amazon PPC ads and you will 100x your business in the next 12 months. All right, so without sugarcoating things, let me just start with the most brutal one. And this one might really give you a lot of pain. But bhai, agar aapko ek asli bada business banana hai, so you must focus on the hard problems. So the very first problem that you might have in your business is that your product might be extremely bad. And this is something that a lot of people ignore. A lot of people want to get to the market really fast with mediocre products, with mediocre branding, with mediocre value proposition, and you still want to see exceptional results in your business, which is absolutely ironical. I don't think अगर आप एक बहुत ही mediocre product market में launch करोगे तो आपको exceptional results आने वाले हैं, और आने भी नहीं चाहिए, because then you might be scamming the customers, which you don't want. What you need is a bad ass product. A badass product is a product wherein you can charge a premium fee to the customers. How can you do that? You can do that by providing them absolutely non-negotiable, extremely high value, which means you're aiming for the right kind of branding, you're aiming for the right kind of messaging, you're aiming for the right kind of product quality, and you're not playing it cheap. Secondly, if you have a really badass product, you can command extremely high margins. Now, this is honestly a luxury. अगर आपको इंडिया जैसे मार्केट के अंदर हाई मार्जिन्स एक्सपेक्ट करना है, then your offer has to be extremely good compared to anybody else out there. For example, you must have guarantee claims. You must have absolutely non-negotiable refund policy. You must shock the customer in a manner कि भाई उनको भी ये लगना चाहिए कि भाई ये ब्रांड तो कुछ और ही कर रहा है. They are too confident. They are too real. They are too candid, and therefore I should buy from them. So the very first thing that you need to evaluate for yourself is if you currently have a bad ass product or not. अगर आपका product bad ass नहीं है भाई, तो unfortunately you should take a step back. You should restart the business and do it correctly. Of course, that means that you might have to absorb a little bit of losses, but if you do this correctly, I can bet on one fact that customers will come flooding towards you and give you their money if you nail the product. All right, so let's assume that you do have a badass product and still your Amazon PPC ads are not working. Then your problem might be in either of these two metrics. On one side, we have CTR, and I will explain this to you. And on the other side, we have CVR. You have to be a little bit of a psychotic person to make sure that कि भाई ये दोनों metric आपके नज़र के सामने से हटने नहीं चाहिए. Let me explain first of all what CTR is. CTR basically means click through rate. Click through rate basically means कि कितने लोगों को आपका product दिख रहा है on their Amazon feed, whether they are using the mobile application or the website, doesn't matter. Let's assume that 1,000 people saw your ad when you were running your PPC ads for a very specific keyword. And out of those 1,000 people who were seeing your ad, this is called impressions, by the way. You might see this in your Amazon PPC dashboard, impressions. And let's say you got about 100 clicks out of those 1,000 impressions, which means your percentage of CTR is 10%. This is actually very high CTR. All right. If your CTR is currently around anywhere above 8%, you're doing a pretty good job. But if your CTR is less than 8%, then your listing may not be doing justice. Now, if your CTR is low and it's below 8%, your problems might lie in multiple things. Your problem might be that you don't have a great hero image, which means the very first image of your listing may not be very well optimized for grabbing eyeballs, for grabbing attention. The second problem you might have is you might have bad ratings. Generally, if people see anything below 4.0, they might not end up clicking on your listing, which means if this is your problem right now, you absolutely need to find a way to fix it, even if it requires a little bit of a sharp strategy. Apart from this, if these two things are correct, then your problem might be pricing. Now, over here again, having a badass product makes a huge difference, because if you do have a badass product, you should generally have an incredible hero image, and whatever price you command, people should be able to understand the reason behind it. But if you don't have a badass product and you're charging a premium price, or you're asking for a premium price, then people will get confused and they will not click on your listing. So the very first thing that you should be looking out for is your CTR. Let's assume that you have fixed your CTR. Your CTR is good. Then you need to look at your CVR, which is called conversion rate. Now, remember, these 100 people had clicked on your ads, which means that they had come to your listing. So let's say that those 100 people came to your listing, but after coming to your listing, only one person actually bought your product, which means your conversion rate is just 1%, which in other words means that only 1 out of 100 people who see your listing in the product detail page buy your product, which means Amazon is basically getting a negative signal that bhai aapka product itna acha nahi hai, ise koi khareedne nahi wala, right? So this is something that you need to fix. Again, how do you fix it? You can fix your CVR by doing a couple of things. You can fix your CVR by making sure that your listing images, all the other listing images, let me just draw some rectangles here. These are your secondary listing images. This is your hero image and this is your secondary listing images. Okay, SLIs. Now, from left to right, as you go here, as you swipe through all the listing images as a customer, you should be able to convince the customer that, hey, why do I need to buy from this brand? Why is the product good? What is different about the brand? What are the claims that the brand is making? How does the product help the customer? What is the quickest result that I can get from the product? All of these questions need to get addressed and answered for the customer across all of these listing images. Only then I might end up purchasing it. Now, apart from that, obviously, the reviews still matter. You must obviously have really good reviews on your listing, and that's possible only if you have a really great product. Your pricing has to be on point, and then something very interesting that you can run to have a really good CVR is offers. Okay, how do you run offers? You can run offers by running promotions. You can have promotions on Amazon, which means you could be running offers like buy one get one offer, right? You could be running a coupon on Amazon and providing the customers 20% or 10% off, or you could even give them like a 50 rupee discount if that is possible in India. In US, we can actually give them a dollar amount discount. So that is how you can improve your conversion rate. Now, obviously, along with this, you must make sure that your listing has all the right visuals. You have the A+ content, and for having the A+ content, you need to obviously get the trademark, but that is a lesson for another day. So these are the two metrics that you need to be focusing on. Let's move to the third one. All right, so the third problem that you might be facing with your Amazon listing might actually be that you're looking at the wrong data. So mostly when people start running ads, they're always told to look at something called ACOS, advertising cost over sales, right? Which basically means if you spend $10 in running ads and you've generated a revenue of $1,000, then your ACOS over here is pretty much like 1%, which is an incredible ACOS to have. But if, let's say, if you generated a revenue of $1,000 and you spent almost $800, then your ACOS is 80%. Now, whether this 80% is bad or not depends on your margins. If your margin on your product is above 80%, then your 80% ACOS is honestly still a break-even ACOS. You're not losing money. This might be complicated. Let me explain this. So what I mean is, if your margin on Amazon's product is, let's say, 80%, you can have your ACOS anywhere in between and still not lose money. Because there is another metric that you need to be looking at, and that other metric is TACOS, or total ACOS. Total ACOS basically means total revenue generated on your Amazon's account in a particular time period divided by total ad spent. Okay, total revenue, not the PPC revenue, the total revenue. And if your TACOS is under your profit margin, okay, if your business is running profitably, your TACOS will be under your profit margin. Then in that case, you need not worry. Generally, people are always just fixating on ACOS and they're trying to optimize ACOS, but you don't need to optimize your ACOS without a reason. You have to first look at your margins, you have to just look at your profitability, and for that, you must be looking at your unit economics. If you're looking at your unit economics correctly and you understand your margins and numbers really well, then you will not worry about how your Amazon advertisements ACOS metric is performing, because you would understand if your business is running profitably or not. Don't try to over optimize a metric which is not even a problem in the business. All right, so let's move on to the fourth one. And this one is again probably going to surprise you. See, mostly when people launch their products on Amazon, they start going hard with PPC in the beginning, right? And this happens especially with people who have high budgets to spend. But whether you have a high budget or whether you don't have any budget at all, you should not be doing that. You need to be basically focusing narrow, right? The principle here is, if you are trying to launch your business on Amazon, if you're trying to sell a product on Amazon, you have to pick your battles in the beginning and you have to first get some wins. For example, if you're selling a yellow dog collar, if you're selling a yellow dog collar, you should not be aiming for the dog collar keyword from day one. You should find keywords which are slightly more broad and relevant to your product. For example, let's say your product is yellow. All right. Let's say your product is vegan. A lot of pet owners care about that. Let's say your product is customizable. Let's say your product is made with sustainable materials. Let's say your product works with large dogs. Let's say your product also works with cats. So what I would do is, I would always look for the detailed keywords, which we basically technically call long tail keywords, and only target those. Once I have some victory, for example, vegan dog collar, sustainable dog collar, customizable dog collar for large dogs, dog collar for large dogs and cats, dog collar for cats. Somebody might be writing that as well. Yellow dog collar. Once I have some positioning on these long tail keywords and I start building my organic sales and I start growing my ranking, only then I would start targeting the dog collar keyword. So you have to start narrow in the beginning. You have to start narrow. You have to focus on your CTR. You have to focus on your CVR, and then you have to scale upwards as you grow your business. Don't try to scale your business within the first 30 days. You need to take it slow. A lot of the entrepreneurs and sellers on Amazon are absolutely impatient. They want to compete and get the bestseller tag on the main keyword in the very first week, which is not the goal. Guys, this is a marathon. You have to take it slowly. What will happen is, once you have really good CTR and CVR on some of these long tail keywords, then Amazon will automatically start ranking you here better. Also, one important technical point to note here is, if you're running a ad for yellow dog collar and you're selling exactly yellow dog collar, then your CTR and CVR must be through the roof. Your CTR should ideally be at least above 2-3%. And your conversion rate must definitely be above 10%, because you're selling exactly what the customer is typing. And if you are not able to do that, then again, you have to go back to the drawing board and understand what is the problem with the product. Now, let's go to the final fifth point, which is going to help you improve your Amazon business. All right, so this one might surprise you a little because this is very critical, and 90% business owners and Amazon sellers do not do this. And if you do this, you'll be ahead of 90% and you will guarantee yourself a successful, profitable e-commerce business. So, hear me out. Basically, what you need to do is you need to have a really good launch strategy and you need to have an even better maintenance strategy. So, a really good launch strategy and an even better maintenance strategy. See, when you're launching anything, anywhere, whether it's on Amazon or on your own website, you have to have a really good launch plan. What are you going to be doing in the first 30 days? What are you going to be doing in the first 60 days? What are you going to be doing in the first 90 days? Don't jump in the ocean with your business, with all of your inventory, all of your cash, and bet on the table. It's not a casino. It is a business. You have to be tactical about it. You have to have some sort of forward thinking about it. That is why, like, in case you are a chess player, you might be better at this e-commerce business, guys, right? So what is it that you need to do when you're launching a product? You have to obviously raise some awareness. You have to do some influencer marketing. You have to make sure that as soon as you go live on Amazon, there are people ready to buy it who were probably on your wait list, who were already waiting for your product to come to life, right? You should absolutely get some reviews. There are many different ethical review strategies that you must be focusing on. In case you want some more information about that, you can let me know. Now, apart from that, you have to constantly do a certain bunch of things. For example, every month you have to grow your review. Every month, every week, you have to check your ratings on Amazon. In case your rating goes down, you have to find a way to get some positive reviews on Amazon. Every month, you must do at least a handful of influencer marketing campaigns. And that is how you don't just launch your product, you also maintain the business, because your customers are going to find you on Amazon, great, but you have to also build your social reputation, build your brand on the internet, so that more people come to a platform like Amazon and type exactly your brand name and then buy your product. For example, if you were selling yellow dog collar, as we discussed, customers should come to Amazon and type in XYZ, which is your brand name, XYZ yellow dog collar, which means your brand is becoming more and more real. Some people are getting to know about it, and that might only happen if you're doing some kind of marketing. You should definitely invest some time, money, and efforts in building content for your brand and product. In case you have multiple products, you must definitely do that for all of the SKUs. But if you have a hero product, which I advise in the beginning, you should only have one hero product to focus on. You must absolutely focus on building content on the internet so that the eyeballs come to the content and the traffic goes to platforms like Amazon. And this works like magic, guys. Again, moral of the story is you have to be patient with your business. If you learned a thing or two, make sure that you subscribe to the channel. Now, if you want help and support, if you want me to look at your listing, if you want some consulting, if you want us to fix your listing and fix your business and make it grow 100x, then go ahead and click on the link in the description and get in touch with us for a strategy call. I will see you there.